It was really a matter of time for Justin to break out. So I think just the timing. I always like it on the field because you can see where the ball goes. But it was just a matter of time before he did something like this.
And how much of a relief? Obviously, your team needed it as well as he, so he kind of.
No, obviously, when you're in a little slide like we've been in, it's you don't know how far that goes, and it's never a good feeling when you start putting games where you've lost together. It's almost obviously it's the opposite of when you're going good and you're starting to roll. Everybody feels like you're going to win every day. So it was good for us, like you said. It was good for him.
You said you had been seeing quality at bats out of him even before today's big performance, and just those last few days, you said it was probably a matter of time. You saw already tracking the last few days like he was due for something like this.
Well, I just think the hit yesterday is the same staying inside the ball, and there were good at bats on the road. I thought there was a couple swings in Seattle where he hits the ball to the ballpark the opposite way. He really hits a single the swing was the right path, and so there's things that you're seeing signs, and you know that he cares. And, I know he cares, and I know he's got a good swing. So I mean, eventually, that combination is going to work itself out.
And how encouraging is Ozuna's day?
It was good. I mean, O's been pretty good. I think for him to get a few hits, that little kind of check single is one of those that are really good for you. Did they give me a hit on that other ball in the hole?
Yes.
They did? No? No? That was an error or whatever. But, yeah, just the fact that he put some hits together. I thought that last one, you seen that breaking ball try to get away from him. He hit it up the middle. So, obviously, we've been having trouble putting runs on the board, and the fact that we're able in that game to get down 3 and kind of chip away and get close and then kind of break it open was really good for us. And hopefully moving forward, it sets something going the opposite direction that we've been going.
Donnie, obviously big inning, the top of the 5th, they're up by a run at the time. They have the bases full, and McGowan gets Mercer. Take us through.
Yeah, that was obviously the lefties. We walk Polanco and obviously I'm just trying to make a choice between Polanco and Jaso, so we went that way, and then he walks him. That was a big out for us, and again, he's been used a lot, and it was just a situation really from the short outing and having to pinch hit early, trying to get back in the game, that he's out there again, and he always takes the ball.
A couple of innings later, similar situation with Polanco. You pitched to him that time. What was kind of the difference in the two?
Well, Polanco one puts a winning run out there for me, and the other one we were already behind. You're trying to get out of that inning. So that's the one that I don't really want to put the winning run out there and bring up a guy.
Just the encouragement of the add-on runs. I mean, you had your pen kind of lined up, and it could have been that one-run game you're trying to protect. But
right.
Just to get that 6th spot.
No, it was good. It obviously didn't have to use AJ. Ended up using Zig because he had already warmed up, and just the usage of everyone else and what situation we're going to be in tomorrow. You're making decisions in that game that affect tomorrow. Also, pretty much which guys are going to probably have to be down tomorrow. Things like that. So Zig ends up getting up in a close game and ended up being that. But the good thing about Zig is that he understands the situation that the bullpen's in and understands the game and knows that he's not upset about pitching in that game.
What did you see from Culver at the start?
I think Tom gets in trouble and he misses locations, and you miss locations to good hitters. If it ends up being, sometimes you get away with it, but oftentimes you don't. And so the one to Bell, and then there were some loud outs, in that inning even, to get out of that. McCutcheon's ball to center is crushed, but and what Tom does is he hangs in and he keeps pitching, and and he kept us there, even though the next one I think was kind of shaky too, and he gets out of it. But from there, he gives us a couple more innings, which it kept us in the game and allowed our offense to do something.
You said after Friday, after the 12-2 game, that overall the at-bats were pretty good, you thought. Did you think throughout most of this little bit rough patch they were swinging well, they just weren't putting together those innings?
Well, each game's individually different. because you're making me go all the way back to Philly, in this stretch. So there were games that you think they're good, and there's games that you don't think they're as good, where you feel like you get away from what you're trying to do with the guy, or don't have a good understanding of what the guy's trying to do. So, again, each game's individual. A game plan for Nova, it seemed like it's not been working for anybody, whatever the game plans have been. And so each guy you have a little different plan for. Some days the at-bats are good and you stay with it, and you can have success, or you can not. You can have good at-bats and not really score. So you just have to look at the quality of them for me and I can pretty much tell when guys are having good at-bats, swinging at strikes, have a plan, stick with it. You can tell a good at-bat from a bad at-bat. And it's kind of one of the things we had told Justin before, is that I know the difference in a good one and a bad one. So, you're making outs sometimes. If they're good at-bats, I'm okay with it. I know that's going to change. So, but when they're not quality, then you're in a little bit of trouble.
The ceremony pregame, just kind of your thoughts on that.
That was great. That was really cool. I'd like to be able to see that little piece they gave him with all the pictures. That was interesting. At first, I'm like, what is that? You can't really tell what it is. But then when they explained that all the, every hit's on there, that's kind of cool.
And obviously he gets in the game, he gets the walk, which helps you as well.
It's first one, right, of the year. Yeah, so, no, it was good. I actually didn't know it was each day today or whatever. So it was good that he got in the game and we were able to get a win.